yeah, let me go ahead and get started. Angels, guides, ancestors, God, source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. Please continue to guide and protect me as I walk my path. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Let me see. I need to turn the music up a little bit more. Okay. So much drama. Oh my gosh. Okay. 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 So the first card we have here is the Star card. And with the Star card, there is this feeling of like finally finding peace, finally finding a happy place or getting to a happy place or feeling like you can relax. And it's not just like a physical relaxing, it's like a spiritual relaxation, like just being at peace. Very interesting. And there is a reference to acceptance as well and finding security in acceptance. There is also this energy of like releasing, like not worrying about past dramas, future dramas, just feeling good with yourself and where you're at right now. And it also is referencing like something about career. So like whatever you do for work, feeling at peace with that. And I'm hearing the word reluctant. So you may have been reluctant to feel at peace surrounding what you do for work. Or reluctant like being open or being public about what you do for work in general. But it feels like finally getting to a place where you feel at peace with it. And then there's a reference to like what you do for work, you coming to terms with or you rationalizing what you do for work is like natural or like it's if and it feels like it's coming from a place of like maybe not everybody will accept it or has accepted it, but it's like you getting to a place where you accept it for yourself and you're okay with it and you don't hold any guilt or shame regarding it. And um in fact you find it very natural, like you feel like everybody should have their own connection with God, with the divine, and it's like you just so happen to, like it just so happened that your relationship or your practices with the divine happen to be your work. And I'm hearing the word elegant. So there's something about like, I think by the spiritual team, you're being perceived as elegant. The way that you go about working with the divine, the way that you go about interacting with your relationship, whatever your spiritual relationship is, your spiritual team, God views you as very elegant with it. So it's like they view you like as very soft, very kind, taking your time. They view you as very nurturing and honest, natural. So yeah, something natural, and I'm hearing the word pervasive. So yeah, there's just this emphasis on this very beautiful connection that is like your relationship with the divine, the practices that you partake in, the spiritual practices that you engage in, just so happen to be your work. Like, it doesn't necessarily feel like right now, but it's like you will, or there will be a time where this will be seen more publicly than it is right now. And it just feels so natural. It looks so natural. It feels like there is an exchange, and I've been thinking lately about the exchanges that we have when we partake in anything. And I've come to this conclusion that it's very important to participate in practices or exercises or activities or relationships that as you are giving to it, it is giving to you, or you are getting something from partaking in it. So you're getting energy from painting because it's like it's a natural recycling of energy because it's something that you love, and that energy that you get from it is like pure creation, pure creative type of energy, pure inspiration energy that it almost feels like it is starting to become tangible. Um, so it's like, it's definitely giving photosynthesis type of energy, like the exchange between plants and the sun, how it reproduces its own food and it feeds itself. It's definitely giving that energy when it comes to you and your personal spiritual work that just so happens to be work that you're going to share with others. Very beautiful. So that was the star card. On the right of that, we have the Seven of Pentacles, which came out in reverse. And directly under that, we have the Queen of Wands. I'm hearing the word spiritual. With the Queen of Wands coming out upright, is giving this energy of, I'm hearing the word stature, is the energy of like, yes, you are viewed this way by others and by your spiritual team, I'm hearing, but it's also like this inner authority that kind of radiates, is not the word that I'm necessarily looking for, but it's like it can be seen, and I'm hearing the word shown. So it can be shown, it can be not displayed as in you're trying to display it, but like when other people see you, they can see it. And I'm not entirely sure like how to describe this emanation, but yeah, I guess it's like emanating off of you. And when I say emanating, it's like you have some kind of inner authority that like having inner authority, it takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to cultivate within you. It could start in the mind, and as you develop it, it grows and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But for you, it feels like, and for you, it feels like it's starting to radiate outside of you. So you know how you can, like some people say like, oh, I can see your aura. And usually for me, when I hear people say that, I'm thinking aura like way outside yourself. But something about this word spiritual coming out with the Queen of Wands is like people are starting to see it, this spiritual inner authority that you have cultivated, you have developed, and it's starting to radiate off of you, but it feels like it's coming out, extending like this much. So this is like 5 to 6 inches off of your body. If it feels like it's radiating that way, and not so much that it can be seen like, oh, this light, this glow around you, but it feels more like a feeling, and it does feel kind of like palpable in a way. Like people can feel it off of you. But overall, the way this energy is feeling and coming across is like, oh, this person has inner authority and outer authority. Like, oh, this person is powerful. That's the way that's coming across. Like, and it's not, and I'm not getting someone feeling intimidated by it, or people being triggered by it, or being like this, but it's just like when they say what's already understood doesn't need to be said or something like that, that's definitely the energy. Like, I'm not even getting people questioning it. So far, I'm not necessarily feeling like people are like questioning it or like looking at it extra hard or trying to overanalyze it. It's just like, oh, this is this person. But it's all energy recognition is the way that it's feeling. So it's very interesting. It's almost like you're seen positively in other people's perception. You're not coming up as a threat, but it's not because you're not trying to come up as a threat. But at the same time, your energy signature, the way that you're coming across, is like people are like, oh, this person is, I don't know what word is coming up. It's just like this person is, and the only thing that I can say right now is just like they have a positive view of you. They feel like you're righteous, like, and it's interesting because it's like they feel like you're righteous or they know that you're righteous, but they don't feel threatened by it at the same time. It's just like acknowledge it and that's what it is, and there's no argument about it. So it's very interesting energy. So like I said, above this Queen of Wands, we have the Seven of Pentacles, which came out in reverse. Oh, you can't even see. Very interesting. So give me a second. So the Seven of Pentacles in reverse definitely does feel like a feeling. So typically with the Seven of Pentacles, it's like there's this anticipatory feeling of like, oh, okay, I planted this seed, the bush has grown, the fruit has grown, but the fruit is not just ripe enough for me to pick it, and I kind of feel like I'm ready for it to be picked now. So I'm kind of like, okay, oh, another week or another couple of days, like when is it gonna happen? For some reason, even with the Seven of Pentacles coming out in reverse, I don't feel that way. So it's giving me this impression that like you know what you have. You know what you have. And it's like you've waited a long time already. It also feels like you've been in the spiritual game for a long time. You've exercised your faith many different times in many different scenarios. So it's like you, because of the spiritual work that you have done, and because you practice you like actively practice being aware of your spiritual journey, how it works, how it's been working for you, observations. Like you've really been doing your due diligence. I'm hearing you really been doing your work. So it's like you've gotten to the place that even when things, I'm hearing awry, like things go awry, even when things go awry, or even when something hasn't happened just yet, even when things haven't come into fruition just yet, it's just like you know it's there. So you've elevated and you've graduated to the point where like you're not a rookie anymore. Of course, there's still things for you to learn, aspects of spirituality for you to learn, but it's like one thing that you do know is that your efforts, your actions do pay off, that your intention does go somewhere, it does develop into something. Like the things that you do, the actions, the steps that you take, they do amount to something. Like you don't feel or fear anymore where someone or even you yourself in the past have been like, well, I've been doing the work. Like, I don't know if it's going to come through for me. Like, you're past that stage because of the work that you've done. And like I've said, there's been other projects, there's been other situations, circumstances where you follow through. You've practiced, you've listened to spirit. You listen to your spiritual team, you listen to God, you listen to your intuition, you listen to your gut, you listen to your mind, and and it worked out and it paid off and you were able to see like and experience tangible manifestations of what you've put your time, energy, and effort into spiritually. So it's like because you've done those work, it's like that's not something that you have to battle anymore. You don't have to battle what if it doesn't work out, or what if it doesn't come through, or is it going to come through. Like you already know. So it's bringing up this idea of a spiritual bank, and you have put in work into this spiritual bank. Like you know that the spiritual bank exists. It's not just an idea anymore. It is like it's like it's a physical spiritual place for you. So wow, so powerful that like we know the spiritual world is intangible naturally, but because of the work that you have done as a, I'm getting specifically spiritual leader, because of the work that you have done as a spiritual leader, with this understanding and acknowledging that the spiritual world, the spiritual realm is intangible, because it is intangible, because we acknowledge that we are in this physical reality, or what we perceive as physical, and there is a contrast between this physical and this our perception of the spiritual. Even the spiritual even the spiritual realm for you has become tangible. So it's just trying to reiterate that um, like your level of faith that you have in your spiritual work now, that it's like it's not a question, it's not a doubt anymore that the spiritual realm is real. So you have a tangible world, and then you have a tangible spiritual world, or a spiritual tangible world, and it's real to you. Like it's, I'm not going to say a fact, but like it is like it's a thing for you now. So all of that just to say, like, you don't have any doubts, you're not worried about it. And so with the Seven of Pentacles coming out in reverse, it's like screaming. You can't even see it, but it's like it's about to drop. It's about to drop. It's coming out in reverse because all of the fruits that you've been bearing is about to drop. Because that is the significance of talking about our physical reality and the spiritual reality. When we're manifesting, setting intention, we're drawing it in, we're bringing in to our physical reality, like whatever we're trying to manifest. And the Seven of Pentacles is coming out in reverse, both representing that you're not worried, you're not feeling plexed about the time frame. When is it gonna happen? Why hasn't it happened? And also that it in reverse, it's coming down. Literally pentacles coming down. Pentacles is naturally in the physical realm. It's tangible. Coins are tangible in our reality. And your spiritual team is saying like your fruit, your spiritual fruit is ripening. It's almost time to receive. That shit is wild, and I'm hearing the word delicate. Like it's delicate and wild. Okay, so on the right of, towards the middle of the spread, on the right of this Queen of Wands, we have the Seven of Wands in reverse. There is a, a freedom from a lack mentality. There is this freedom from feeling like you have to fight for something. There's this freedom from ideologies of scarcity, like when is it gonna happen for me? Or like, why isn't it happening for me? Or like, I need to get to this level fast, or I need to get to this level first. There's like a release from that, and I'm hearing the word shame. Oh yeah, there is a release from shame, like you're not fighting or hiding from or behind shame anymore. And that in itself, I'm seeing like that's something that you've been working on, but it's still a new stage or a beginning stage or a development stage where you've been um, actively like releasing guilt and shame from your life. And that is like definitely like a huge blocker. I'm hearing the word blocker in a lot of people's lives and had been in your life as well. You've started touching the surface of like really deeply exploring, releasing anything, any ideologies that you specifically have or had in regards to shame and guilt. And your spiritual team is like, oh, this, like they're making it feel like, oh, honey, oh, honey. Once you release guilt and shame, it's game over. And really, I'm gonna take that back. I'm not really like getting game over as in like in regards to other people, like, oh, you're about to blow up. Not that that's bad or wrong, but it's like, oh, you're really released from the shackles now. You're really released from the shackles now that you've actively or you're starting to pursue releasing guilt and shame regarding anything. And I'm getting the word unapologetic, and it's reminding me of like Shameless Maya on YouTube, like being shameless. So this is a little bit different, but also is bringing up embarrassment. That's also a part of it. It's attached to it. It feels like a cousin to shame and guilt. Embarrassment. Like embarrassment going for your goals, embarrassment trying to pursue something, embarrassment going after something, embarrassment. I'm getting like specifically like wanting to dance in front of other people publicly, or walking down the runway, like going for it, like dang, I haven't done this, I don't know what people are gonna think. Like once you release, start also working on releasing fear of embarrassment. Oh honey, that's a triple threat. You release guilt and shame, and you're not afraid to be embarrassed. That's a triple threat, and your spiritual team is coming through to like say, it's like almost like they're trying to prepare me or prepare you, like, oh honey, oh honey, you're gonna be unstoppable. But it's funny because it's like they're saying, like, I'm trying to say how I want to say this. It's like they're actually warning me as well, and they're actually warning you as well, like, be prepared. Like once you release like feeling guilt and shame about anything, and also release fear of embarrassment, you're gonna propel like exponentially. Like you're gonna propel. So now I'm getting like someone jumping on a like those blow up bouncy houses that kids get for their birthdays, or and a trampoline. And it's like your spiritual team is like, we got you a bouncy house, or we got you a trampoline, but like be aware that this trampoline, this bouncy house is like, it's it's different from other trampolines or bouncy house. Like it's going to like you're gonna bounce really really high, so you may not be like just prepared. Like they feel like they have to let you know. So just going with this example, you're getting someone a bouncy house or a trampoline, but because this bouncy house and or this trampoline is different, it's not like all the other ones, you do make a point to let this person know, like, this is not just like a normal bouncy house or a normal trampoline. You can go really high on it, so it's not so much like you would tell that person, be careful. In this example, it's not necessarily them, the spiritual team, telling you to be careful because you're going to get hurt, but they do want you to be aware that it's going to shoot you very fast. So with that, because this is a metaphor that's coming through, it's kind of like in regards to your dreams, goals, wishes, hopes, desires, in regards to whatever you're trying to achieve or whatever you're wanting to do in life. They're saying that once you do like finish releasing guilt, shame, and fear of embarrassment, and you go back out into the world, like don't be surprised at how far you go. So I'm thinking in terms of like somebody going for an audition, and they've worked on these things. They've released fear, guilt, shame, and fear of embarrassment. They go into the audition and something exponential happens. not only did they book the part, or let's say it's not even dependent on them getting the part, maybe it's someone sees them and they have a they propose something totally different. It's like limitless type of energy. So it's like you can't go wrong, you can't lose. So that's significant in the message as well. So two scenarios: you release fear, guilt, and shame, and fear of embarrassment, and you go into an interview and you do exponentially well because you release that. And let's say you get the job, you get booked, you get whatever. That's one scenario, like as in like that's what you went in there for and you executed, or you excelled or exceeded the expectations. And then another scenario that our spiritual team, your spiritual team, my spiritual team wants us to know is that you cannot lose no matter what when you release these three things. So in the second scenario, it's like you didn't get picked. You go to audition and you release guilt, shame, and fear of embarrassment, so you do outstanding. Point blank period, you did an outstanding job. It doesn't matter if they don't pick you for that role. You were seen in your truest light, or you were seen as a star, you were seen as amazing, you were seen as like whatever positive attributes. Going back to what we were talking about earlier with this aura, with the Queen of Wands, like people are seeing you in a favorable light, in a favorable position, in a favorable way. So it's like even if they don't, for whatever reason, pick you for this part that you were auditioning for, it's like you were seen, and good things coming from that. Whether it's like they offer you another role, or like they have connections to someone else, or someone wants to work with you, or like you, even if it's not related to that job, it's just like there's no way that you can fail if you release fear, guilt, shame, and fear of embarrassment. It's just like you're like plummeted into this vortex of like pure abundance, where it's like you're gonna collect regardless. You're gonna collect regardless in any way possible. So it's like you literally cannot lose. So now I'm getting this energy of like, you know how the video game Sonic the Hedgehog, like you're collecting all these rings, and like he gets hit, or something happens and he loses all his rings. Or you might have seen, like, I don't know what it is or where this is, but I've seen videos of people in this like glass, this glass box, and like air is blowing like super fast, and they have to catch as much money as they can in a certain amount of time. That's the energy. It's just like all these gold rings are gonna be everywhere, and all you have to do is move around. Any which way you move, you're gonna catch something. You're gonna catch something regardless. So it's like there's no fear, there's no lack mentality, there's no scarcity. Those are words that literally came up. And going back to this seven of wands in reverse, which is depicted as a man like being caught off guard and having to defend himself unprepared, because he's been kind of like ambushed, or people just came up like unannounced. There's this energy of like you don't have to fight for it, you don't have to like be in this scarcity lack mentality. And one of the examples that was coming through earlier in this reading was this energy of like, I have to get to it first. It's not like competition energy where you're in a position where you're worried about someone else is gonna get it before I do, or what about me, or like it's like I said, The Sonic the Hedgehog, like when the rings come out, it's like the rings. He's actually losing the rings, but that was just like the imagery that was coming through. But the energy regarding the 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 imagery that came through is like just representing how the rings are everywhere, and you just have to catch them. But it's so abundant, there's so many of them that it's like you're gonna catch something, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna be good regardless, because there is this abundant energy. So wow. So your spiritual team is saying that like you don't have to worry about scarcity or fighting or having to like, I'm getting that energy like we all, or you probably all know this energy of like, I have to get there early, or I have to make sure that I'm not late, or I have to get there at a good time because the lines are going to be very long. So, like Black Friday type of vibes, or trying to get to a concert type of vibes. It's like, it, or getting out of church type of vibes. The parking lot is going to be packed. So you kind of like try to sneak out of church like early, it's that type of energy because there's going to be traffic. You try to beat the traffic going to work. Your spiritual team is like, so I want to use this example. I want to explore this example of having a 9 to 5 and your work hours are, I have to be at work at 8 and I work till I go in at 8 and I get off at 5. That energy of like, that there's going to be a lot of traffic on the road because people are going to work, people are going to school. And that energy of like, that you have to get up at maybe 5 o'clock just to get ready on time, and there's going to be traffic regardless, but at least you're going to be in the thick of it where you're not so far back where you're going to be late getting into the office. So I want to explore this analogy that's coming through in regards to what our spiritual team is saying, that what we will and won't have to deal with, or what we can expect to experience with that. So it's like, whereas you did have to deal with being in traffic for many years, working a 9 to 5 job, and you had to navigate traffic, it's like you work in a different field or a different job now, and the nature of that job is different in a way that I'm being led to go to someone is now a 1099 employee or a independent contractor. So they don't have to worry about traffic so much. Maybe they do still go into the office. Maybe they don't. But there's this energy of like, there's still traffic, and there's this acknowledgement and this appreciation that they see other people are in traffic right now, and they are in traffic now too, but because of the nature of their job, they don't necessarily just like have to be at a certain place at a certain time because of the work that they've done. Going back to this Queen of Wands, they were talking about, you already put in this spiritual work through many examples, through many scenarios and past experiences where you follow through on your faith, where you follow through on your calling. So it's like, because of that, you've cultivated skills, you've cultivated discipline. So now you're not working a 9 to 5 where you just have to be at a place at a specific time frame or be confined to certain hours. Now, because of the skills that you have obtained and cultivated, you're working in a different type of job, and this job is like, you have more control over your time. If you want to go in at 8 o'clock, you can. If you want to go in at 10, you can. It's not really like, oh, I have to clock in. So that's the difference, I think, between like someone being on getting a wage versus being on salary. I think when you get a salary, it's not so much about the hours when you clock in and when you clock out. It's more about, are you finishing the project? Can you execute the the mission? So it's more like you get paid for your work. It's not so much about like we need you here between this hours and that hours. And the difference between those jobs is the fact that you've taken responsibility and you've exercised discipline. So that's why you have this freedom, that you don't just have to be in the office at this time and clock out at that time. You have the freedom. So going back to the traffic example, it's like this person has a level of appreciation for who and where they are right now. They're still in traffic, but the nature or the gravity of how they navigate through traffic has changed because they have cultivated the discipline, the characteristics, the skills that allowed them to do a different type of job, which allowed them more freedom. So I see somebody going through traffic, and let's say they're in traffic at 8 o'clock, but they're not stressed out because, they get there when they get there. They may have intentions to go into work between 8 and 9 or between 8 and 10 o'clock a.m. But it's not like once they get there, someone's going to be like, oh, you're late. Why didn't you clock in? It's just like, oh, okay, this person, they're in and they came to do their work. As long as the project is done by, whatever the deadline is, then that's cool. Like nobody's really regulating them to that degree. So I think it's significant that this person is still in traffic. And because of that, they have the opportunity to, like, it's like, whereas the people around them, they can kind of see, like, oh, this person, they can tell, like, by how the person drives, like, oh, this person's running late, or, oh, this person's frustrated. They see people honking at each other, and they're like, oh, they're frustrated. And there's like this appreciation and gratitude that they're not in that place anymore. And also they're in a space where they can give other people more grace when they are kind of at they're the brunt of other people's frustration in regards to traffic on the road. So they see someone being impatient on the road and they're like, whoa, like, dude, calm down. But they know that they only feel that way because they're not in that environment anymore. What? Like, that's so wild. And this is reminding me of the journey that I've personally been on. I set an intention to transition from working full time to working part time. I'm trying to remember the year. Oh, yeah, that was 2017. 2017 was a very transitional year for me. So, like, I was working full time in a call center. I have a lot of history in working on call centers. And I just got, that frustration that most people have of like, but for me, it was like, I was tired of going in a office and seeing how beautiful of a day it was, and I just felt like I'm supposed to be outside. Like, it's such a beautiful day and I'm stuck in a call center for 8 hours out of the day. Like, this is insane. And I've had a lot of different periods in my life where I was like, is this life? Like, is this life? Should I expect this? Like, something I knew the reason why I was asking that is because I was like, something has to change. But, anyways, that was like kind of like the catalytic feeling that really propelled me to like change my life. So, anyways, in 2017, I set the intention that I want more freedom in my life because I feel like I'm meant to do more in my life than just work in a call center, and I cannot expect for this to be it. So I know a lot of people, like especially online, and like I get upset when I see a lot of these like pyramid scheme type of marketing in its many forms where people are like, oh, like get into stockbroking or like Bitcoin. Like, not to say that those aren't legit, but I just see a lot of people that really try to believe in those things, and they really do try, and for some reason it just doesn't work out. And I'm not sure because I'm not knowledgeable about those fields, but I just feel like I see a lot of people trying, and for some reason it just doesn't work out. Like, even like when people are like real estate, like I do think that there is a way to do it, but I feel like people aren't honest about what that really looks like, or people don't really have an understanding of it's a complex. I feel like I'm getting diverging from what I really wanted to say, the true message, and I apologize for that if that's not resonating with you. But so my personal journey, I was just like, I intentionally like paid off my car, so I was making double payments on my car, and I was being disciplined about my spending and stuff, because I was like, I don't want to be paying on this car for 5 years just because my loan is 5 years or 6 years or whatever it is. Because by that time, I won't even like that car and I'll want another car. Like, that's just how it goes. And also, by that time, I'll probably be having issues with the car. And I just didn't want to be in a cycle. So I was like, I paid off my car in 2 years because I just wanted to be disciplined, and I just made any extra payments on it that I could. And I definitely made my payments on time. I know everybody's not able to do that, not in a position to do it. So please, like, take that with a grain of salt. But that was just my way out. So I wanted to free up money because, like, I don't want to be making a $300, $400 payment every month for 5 years. I just don't. I want to be able to save that $300, $400, a month long term, so I could feel like I have a quality of life, because I don't want to have to work full time forever. Amongst that were many other bills that I had. So, I was intentional about not creating excess bills, and being intentional about, the type of lifestyle. What am I spending my money on? I'm trying to think of other examples of things that I felt like were unnecessary, and I just kind of like cut it out, or I just went ahead and paid it off. Things that I knew that I wanted. So, for example, like material wise, if I knew I want a TV, like nothing's wrong with I want a TV, I want jewelry, I want, whatever material. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not my message. But my intention was like, okay, if I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna go ahead and pay it off and get out the way. And this is my investment. I'm gonna be with this TV. Like, I'm gonna take care of this TV, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, I need to get the latest TV, a year from now or 2 years from now. Like, this is my TV, and this is gonna be my TV for the next 5 years at least. That type of energy. Like, even with my clothes, like, I wear a lot of the same clothes. I don't really mind that so much. I don't think anything is wrong with people that have a lot of clothes. That's not my message. If you have a lot of clothes, you have a lot of shoes, that's what you love, that's amazing. I think that's beautiful. That there's nothing wrong with that. my goal was like sustainability and like choosing my items with of quality that I feel like it's gonna last me, and I'm gonna be okay with this. I'm not gonna regret getting it and not wasting my money, so that I can, set myself up to live this minimalistic lifestyle. So I did that, and once I got all the stuff that I felt like I needed, like, okay, I'm set. I have this, I have that. Got my furniture set that I wanted. I'm gonna ride with this furniture for a while. I'm gonna try to take care of it the best way I can so it can last. You take, like, when you get older, I would hope, not everybody does that. Like, I'm really big on like taking care of what you have so that it can last. Not in a vain way, like, not that like I'm gonna die if it doesn't, but like just so that I'm not constantly cashing out, spending money. If I get a laptop, I want it to last, so I'm gonna try to take care of it the best way that I can. I'm not trying to get a new tablet every year. I'm not trying to get a phone every year even. But if that's your thing, that's your thing, that's fine. So yeah, anyways, that was my mindset going into this, as my goal was to, like, I was like, I don't want to work 40 hours a week because I have other things that I want to do with my life, and I believe that I can make a living off of doing whatever it is that I want to do. And I'm not entirely sure what that is just yet, but I just really felt this energy of preparation in 2017. So I started on that journey. So as soon as I finished paying off my car, girl, like, dude, like, I was like, I went and talked to, because like I was trying to go part-time, but they wasn't really trying to hear that. I went up to like the person, like my supervisor's manager, and I had a whole talk with them, and I was like, this is what's going on. I'm trying, like, I didn't tell them all this, but I was just like, I need to go part-time basically. And yeah, I need to go part-time. So I was able to go part-time. And before that, like, I had already budgeted. I wrote in my intention. Like, I have this book of intentions where I write down anything and everything that I'm wanting to bring into my life, anything that I'm trying to manifest. And I literally was calculating, okay, I'm making this much. This is how much I would make as a part-timer. This is how many hours that will work every week. And with this amount of money that I'm getting every 2 weeks, I will be able to maintain it. Like, I planned everything out. So I went part-time successfully. And that I went from working 40 hours a week to working 27 hours a week. And with that, I was able to, like, really invest time in myself. First, it was about being able to rest, like, not not rushing or just not spending my whole day, like being able to have slow mornings. So I went from having to be at work at 8 and getting off at 5 to the part-time shift was like I got to go in at 11 and I got off at, I forgot what time I got off. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. I was getting off at 4. I worked 11 to 4. Um, yeah, I worked 11 to that was like 5 hours a day. 5, 10. That's 25. Yeah, and then like I was even like doing like when I really got into the groove of it. I wasn't even working 27 hours a week. I was working 25 hours a week because I was doing 5 hours a day. But like when I wanted to, when I needed to, I did the 27. So yeah, but that allowed me to, like, okay, I can wake up and have my slow mornings. I don't have to be in traffic. So yeah, that was the beginning stages, and I did that for a while, and I sustained and I managed my bills that way. And it was great. It was a great start. And it just evolved from there. Um, Once I did that for like a year and a half. Also, I want to preface this also now that I'm thinking about it. I was teaching English online uh to Chinese students. So I did have like my other thing was like having another source of income. So technically like um I was working more than the 25, 27 hours a week for a period of time, but it wasn't because I had to, because I needed that income. It was because, like, I mean, obviously, like, it was nice to have that extra income, but it was really like another separate personal journey of, like, exploring this idea of being a 1099 employee, being an independent contractor, managing my own time. So I did that for like I think like 2 years or something like that, or a year and a half. I think it might have been longer. And I eventually stopped doing that, but um, yeah, that was just like a whole nother side mission. Um, what I want to say. But eventually I stopped doing that and I was just working like just the 25, 27 hours a week, which was great. Um, then from that point, as it evolved and I got into a routine, my next goal was like, I don't want to wake up to an alarm clock. I'm really big on that because all of my life, ever since I was a child, I just felt like something was wrong. That was another one of this catalytic, like, is this life? Like, I remember, like, my parents having to work so hard, getting up early in the morning, being in traffic, and just like this, a lot of anxiety that I felt in my heart just going to school every morning. And I was just like, is this life? Like, so one of my personal things is like, I wanted to get to a place where I was not waking up to an alarm clock every day because I am big on like rhythmic, like finding my body's rhythm, allowing my body to wake up when it naturally wakes up. And waking up to an alarm clock, it's really bad, I'm gonna say for me, but I feel like in general for everybody because it's like alarm clock is not pleasant. It's a very unpleasant sound. You literally have to have an unpleasant sound to wake you up enough for you to like stop it and get up. So yeah, that's just not good for, I forget the terms, like for anxiety, for your not lymphatic system, but like your somatic system or something like that. It's just not good. So that was my next goal. So eventually I transitioned from that when in 2020 when COVID happened and everything shifted. As I was working part-time at my job, they naturally like they kept the full-timers and the part-timers. They kind of like not laid us off, but like they told us like, hey, you guys go ahead and collect unemployment because we're not entirely sure what we're gonna do with y'all yet. And I was like, sure, you don't gotta tell me twice. I was collecting unemployment and it was life. And that was like the biggest blessing. So imagine going on this minimalistic journey, like intentionally disciplining yourself with your budgeting and your money management, like the preparation energy that my spiritual team in imparted on me to do, and I followed it and I followed through, prepared me for this. Like, tell me why I was I making more, tell me why I was making more money collecting unemployment than I did um, working uh, part-time, which like I budgeted for part-time and I was okay with what I was making as a part-timer because I prepared for it. And then this blessing that was for me, because I know it wasn't for everybody. COVID wasn't a blessing for everybody. Everybody had different struggles and whatever. But for me, that was a blessing time period. While I was making more on unemployment then I was part-time, so like I wasn't trying to go back. I was trying to stay on unemployment as long as I could. So, and it also allotted me more time to do what I was being called to do, which was I was beginning my journey on tarot, learning tarot, exploring tarot, understanding tarot, like really trying to understand like what is this? So yeah, my spiritual team helped me, prepared me, gave me the inclinations, the nudges, the messages, my heart was pulling to move in these certain ways that prepared me to experience all that I was experiencing. So definitely full circle moment that I'm sharing, that like that 2020 time period was like the start of me actually exploring tarot, and here I am now, and how influential that was and how much of a blessing that it was. And going back to this traffic scenario, the imagery that was coming up in this reading, I said all of that to say that, because I was saying like, it's significant that in this vision that I'm getting, or example of someone, they're still in traffic, but now they have a new appreciation for it, and now time has slowed down for them because the nature of their work has changed. So now they're able to give other people more grace on the road, and they're not in a rush, whereas they were. For other people, now they understand why other people are feeling and acting the way that they do. And I remember during 2020 being on my balcony. My balcony was facing the highway. So I would get up every morning almost at 6 o'clock. And it's significant because like when you have to go to work like a 9 to 5 or any job that you don't actually like, it hurts to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But because of the nature of the work that I was doing, whether it was spiritual or it was me working part-time or it was me being on unemployment, it was so much easier to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and go outside on my patio because I wasn't, in that space anymore. And I would sit on the patio and watch traffic every morning almost. And I would thank God that I wasn't in traffic anymore. The example that I'm giving you is like someone in traffic, and I was in that space when I was working part-time, working from 11 to 4, or even if I decided to be out and about, you know during that time, not necessarily going to work, but maybe doing something else that I wanted, you know just doing whatever else I needed to do. I was in traffic, but I wasn't in traffic for the same reasons as other people were. And something is very significant about that for you, for your spiritual team, is saying like it doesn't have to be this example, it could be something else. So definitely leave in the comment section like, what is this scenario for you? um I'm also getting this example of somebody going back to school, but they're not going back to school as like this first person experiencing college for the first time, or like this, like like maybe you're going to college, but you're not an 18-year-old experiencing for the first time with parents that have all these expectations of you. Maybe you're revisiting college as a 24-year-old or a 30-year-old, or older, or even if it's online. It's like, while everybody else has this other type of anxiety or pressure or something, it's like you're experiencing the same things. You're going through the same motions, but in a different way, under a different circumstances, um, in a different with a different energy. You're doing the same thing with a different energy, and I'm hearing understanding with a different understanding. And that's like so significant. So I hope you guys catch this, get this. So Yeah. So like I would be on my balcony like just thanking God, thanking my spiritual team, thanking the universe that I was able to experience. Like wow, I would just thank them. Like I see people waiting in traffic and I say that could be me. Had I not answered the call, had I not followed my intuition, I could still be in traffic right now and I'm not because I'm blessed. And when I say I'm blessed, like I feel like a lot of people say like I'm blessed in different types of energies. When I say I'm blessed, just like I'm really blessed. Um, like when I say blessed, I'm really grateful. Um, yeah, so I would use that time to pray and thank God. Um, this example. So earlier in this reading, we were talking about scarcity, and we were talking about um, the trampoline and the the bouncy house. And our spiritual team is saying like this trampoline, this bouncy house is different. This will actually propel you higher than you've ever gone before. And this energy of like you don't have to fight for this. So I'm in traffic, but I'm not like I need to get here at a certain time. I'm not like I'm in traffic like everybody else, but I'm going to the Dunkin' Donuts shop and I don't have to like go to work afterwards. I'm going wherever I decide to go. So again, I was getting earlier this energy of like someone has a job and they have an office that they're expected to go in, but it's like it's just open. So I was getting more creative energy. Like there's this office that like creatives go and they have like a space in there to paint. But like, they just come and go when they please. There's responsibility. Like they have keys and like they have a badge and there's still certain things. It's not like anybody can go in and out there, but like whoever they report to or whoever they're working for or working with, it's like as long as the job is done within the time frame, and the time frame is more like a month, within a month's time. Like we're actively creative, like we're all working on this project and we have this show or this performance that we're all preparing for, 3 months from now. It's like that type of time frame. It's not like clock in at 8, clock out at 5. It's that type of energy. Um, yeah, so um I don't know why it's like I feel like I'm trying to hit on certain different aspects of this, but uh there's this aspect of humility as well and gratitude because you're still going through the motions and using the services that a lot of people have used or are using, but there's the sense of not having to like do it in the same energy as everyone else. And with that is like a lot of abundance and responsibility and trust. Like you're entrusted also. So it's like my spiritual team trusted that I would do, the right thing or be productive. And it's not so much like, oh, my spiritual team was like, you have to do this, this, and this. But like they knew that I would be doing the work that I was supposed to be doing, even if it was on my own time frame. Um, yeah. So, okay, that's very significant. Earlier we were talking about you've done so much spiritual work that we were talking about like bringing things into fruition or manifesting. It's like because you've actually did your due diligence in regard to manifesting or spiritual work or following your calling or listening to your spiritual team, listening to God, because you've actually put in that time frame. Earlier in the reading they were specifying the fact that you don't really worry about when or if, the energy that you put out in the world is going to come back to you. Like, you know it. Like, your spiritual bank is, it's intangible, but like it's tangible to you because you've seen it, you've done it, like you know it's real. It's not a question of if, it's when. I mean, it's not a question of, yeah, when. It's like you know it's gonna happen, but you're not really plexed. You're not really like stressed about, if it doesn't come in, then you just have this understanding that it's not time yet, and you keep working without complaint. That energy of like, someone had posted something where they were like, when you got paid in advance for something, so now you feel like you're working for free. It's this energy of like, you don't feel plex about, how you get real tight if like you get paid, you get your check and it's off. You like anybody would feel upset about that. I feel upset about that. It's not that your check is off with the divine, your spiritual team. It's that like it's, oh, okay, so I'm getting this time glass, the symbol itself, the time glass. Is that what it's called? Like the with the sand where you turn it and it comes out, or you turn it this way, you turn it out there. The significance in the time glass, the imagery that's coming up for me is like, it's reciprocal between you and the divine. There's an understanding. So going back to this example where you've done so much work, you've cultivated the skills to where whatever job that you are working, there's trust there. So you don't need to be micromanaged. You don't have to, your supervisor, your boss, whoever you're reporting to or working with, they're not like, you have to be here at a certain time. There's trust there that has been cultivated because you've earned it, because you've already proven the discipline that you have. So I'm an independent contractor, so I can work whenever I decide to work. If I don't want to work today at all, nobody's gonna question me about it. It's on me. Um, Trust has been cultivated, and the spiritual team is wanting me to emphasize that it goes both ways. So just like you're not plex about the divine dropping your blessings at a certain time, they're not stressing you about doing whatever at a certain time frame. There's trust there. So the divine trusts you. The divine trusts me to do what I need to do, when I need to do it, how I need to do it. I have creative agency with how I do it. All of that, all that creative agency is like huge. Not being micromanaged is huge. Not having to be confined to a time frame is huge. Now, don't get me wrong when I'm saying time frame. It's just not like clocking in. Again, like we've all agreed, like group project wise, we've all agreed that this project needs to be done. We all need to have our portions within a certain amount of time, but it's not like this assignment needs to be in at this time and this is, no, it's like the whole project. Like, I hope I'm not over explaining this, but um yeah, I'm just really trying to emphasize that the divine trusts you and you trust the divine, and this has been cultivated, and that is very significant to your journey. Like, you love to be in this place, you love to be in this position. You're not stressing the divine like, why hasn't this happened for me yet? When is it coming? Are you sure it's coming? Checking the tracking number, like, it's in Dallas now, it's in Arizona, like it's in Wisconsin, like that type of energy. Like, you're constantly checking it, like you trust the divine, you know it's coming, like y'all, we've been through this, we've been collaborating. So yeah, trust. You trust the divine and the divine trusts you. And that is significantly contributing because damn it, you guys can't see this card. Okay, when I started this reading, I thought it was just going to be for me, but I'm realizing that I might share this. Um, and I'm realizing you can't see the cards, but if you don't know the tarot cards, then it's okay, you're not meant to, but if you do know the cards, I'm going to tell you what they are anyways, but just because of the fact the lighting is poor in here. The fact that the Queen of Wands came out directly underneath this Seven of Pentacles is emphasizing that um, this relationship that you do have with the divine is directly contributing to this aura that we were talking about earlier, where you're being perceived by other people as like in a positive light. Like people maybe can't put their finger quite on it, but it's just like it feels like people hand over their respect, like it's already understood. Like people can see that you are powerful, or that you are not that you're spiritual, but like people can see that you're blessed or you have some kind of authority, whereas people don't get in your way, or they don't feel the need to get in your way. And it's funny because I see a lot of people, like when they talk about like power, authority, inner authority, and um and this is real, this is true, this is a thing, where it's like people sense your power and they're automatically triggered by it. But I feel like it was very significant in this reading that our spiritual team, the spiritual team, my spiritual team is saying that people are recognizing or feeling and accepting and kind of like giving to. There's this energy of like people not getting in your way. Not only are they not getting in your way, they're like they don't have a problem giving to you. So, you know, that energy of like calling customer service, or having to go to the checkout line, or having to go to like the DMV, and it's like people are not being a hindrance. People are not being a blockage in your way. People are just like, you know, you're going to the DMV and maybe you're not getting this energy of people being nitpicky or trying to find something wrong. It's just like, okay, everything checks out and here you are. So that is beautiful. You know, we always love being able to go to the airport and get through the airport without any issues. You know, being able to get through, you know, whatever they're checking, like scanning your luggage, and like everything checks out. And I always pray for like uh ease, ease. I've been asking God for ease and a smooth process for a lot of things, and God has been really providing that for me, especially when I have to apply, like put in applications and stuff, or go to doctor's appointments, and like, you know, I pray for, you know, my prayer, like when anyone that I know or myself like has to go to surgery or has to go to the doctor, I pray that they get someone who is helpful. You know, we all know what it's like to get someone that's not helpful, someone that they're not in a good mood, they're not really into their job. You can tell when they come on the phone that they're not going to be helpful. So like I pray for ease, and I pray for smooth transitions. I pray for, you know, to get from point A to point B with ease. So if you haven't already, that's something that I just started doing in the last couple of years, and it's been very beneficial to ask for that, a smooth processing. Um, um, so yeah, there is that energy of that when, um, I'm gonna say my spiritual team, because that's how it started off. My spiritual team is saying like, you, whoever this reading is for, and myself, it's like something about your aura is like people can see it, like it radiates off of you or emanates off of you. because we all have different gifts. Some people can see it on you, and some people can just feel it on you. But there was a significance and an emphasis on people seeing something. I'll say for lack of just, I'll say for simplicity, like people see or feel you're special, but they're not intimidated by it to where they feel like they have to become a hindrance or a blockage, or they start feeling some type of way. It's this energy of like bowing to you, like I'm not gonna get in this person's way. But it's even like they don't even just like have to say that. They're not coming from a place of like, oh, I'm not gonna get in this person's way. It's just that, it's just like, yes, like it's understood. So something about your aura or this blessing that your spiritual team is putting on you that people don't need to, like, I don't know what it is. It's just like people are just like this to you. So yeah, I love that for me and you. Hmm. What else did I want to say about that? Yeah, it's just on you. I'm hearing that it's just on you. Like, people don't necessarily know what it is, and I'm not sure if they're speculating or even just feeling the need to analyze either. It's understood, which is really kind of a hard concept for me to really fathom or understand, because like I don't feel like a lot of people are just like see a person and like, oh, it's understood. Like this person is special. This person is, blessed. Like let me not get in their way or something like that. This kind of like not a hard concept for me to understand, but it's just like really? But yeah, it's giving that energy. So your spiritual team is putting something on you like that, whereas people are reacting to you in that way. Underneath that, we have the Temperance card here. And it's reminding me of this example of like, you're blessed because you've done the work and you have, I've never been this person that's like favor. I really kind of like don't really like when people say that, and it may be like a lot of Christian background and projection where I've heard that being used like, I'm blessed and highly favored. Like, okay, cool. But the word favored is coming up, and that's new for me. So I'm going to relay the message as I always do. But it's definitely in this message giving favored. So because you are favored, going back to this example of being in traffic or going through motions, being in school, but you're working from a different energy, so you're not necessarily rushing or feeling flustered or feeling anxiety like a lot of the other people or your peers that are also pursuing or going this path or on this journey or utilizing this service. Now I'm getting this energy of like using public transportation, but you're using public transportation from a different space, from a different ideology, from a different energy. Whereas someone else may be like using transportation because that's the space and time that they're in life. Maybe they do have the 9 to 5, or maybe they are in poverty or something like that. Not saying that you are or you're not in poverty, but your mindset is not in poverty. You don't have a lack mentality. You don't have a scarcity mentality. So when you're using the public transportation, you're getting on the public transportation in a different energy. Like you're not as dense or as heavy as everyone else. You're more leisurely. You're not, oh, I need to get a seat and I need to I need to get off on this stop. It's just kind of like, yeah, like I'm gonna go to the park, or maybe I am going to my job, but like I've made accommodations for this. Like I have, and it's kind of like this, it's coming from this energy of understanding of who you are, where you are, and the relationship that you have cultivated with your spiritual team. It's just like, it just feels like not as rushed, not as hustle bustle, not like from a status standpoint, like, oh, I have shame for riding the public transportation because of X, Y, and Z. And the same, another example is like somebody that rides their bike, uses their bike for transportation, or someone else is like, oh, they ride a bike, or someone else is like, damn, I don't have a car. This is embarrassing. I have to ride my bike to get to work. Someone else or you is like, damn, like I get to ride my bike, I'm saving money, like I have this goal, this intention in mind. Maybe I don't have a car or whatever, but it's like you have this mindset that maybe it's not always going to be this way, or maybe it is and I'm okay with it. It's that type of energy. So the Temperance card is coming out underneath the Queen of Wands, and this is reiterating again this energy of like I'm doing it from a different space. I'm doing it with a different mindset, and I know that I'm still sovereign. I know that I'm still protected. I know that I'm still going to be taken care of. Like I just have this level of self-assurance. And that is beautiful. Like so okay, going back to this example of being in traffic, other people are rushing behind you. Now I'm getting like somebody's on campus, and you know how like it can get crowded during certain times on campus where like people are like rushing to their class and they need to take a test, and people are in so much anxiety and frustration that you know how sometimes people can bump you, but like they're so focused on getting to where they need to go. Maybe they don't care that they bump you. They don't acknowledge that they bump you. They don't say they're sorry. And it's like if you were in the same space and mindset and circumstance that they were, it would be a problem any other time. When you were in traffic and someone cut you off, any other time, if you were in the same position that they were, it would have been a problem. You probably would have honked at them, or you probably would have felt some type of way. But because of the space that you're in, the position that you've put yourself in, the fact that you've put time, energy, and effort into cultivating the skills and the discipline that you have, because you followed your calling, because you listened to your spiritual team, and that put you in a different space, time, and reality. Literally, the fact that it's like it's definitely giving the Matrix where that scene where that person is in the street and other people are like passing by like really fast, and how things are like blurred. Like everybody else is like hustle bustle, but you're moving, you're like taking your time. Time is going by a little bit slowly for you because you've put yourself in a position to allow things to move slowly. Like I said, you're still in traffic at 8 o'clock with everyone else, but you're going to Dunkin' Donuts. You're in traffic because you wanted to go somewhere. You wanted to get breakfast. Everybody else is in traffic because they're trying to get to their 9 to 5. They're trying to get their kids to daycare. That type of energy. So, grace with the Temperance card is coming out because you're in the space that you are. You're able to give other people grace that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to have because cultivated you've cultivated it. So yeah. So yeah. So now you're just like with the Temperance card, you have gratitude, you have grace to give, to expend, to extend to other people. This person cut you off, they're rude and they're mad, and they might have given you the finger, but you're like, dude, chill, like I didn't mean nothing by it. And even just the fact that you being like that is just like, they're still upset, but they're like, oh, okay, like okay, let me go on. It's just like because you're not in this like reactivating space, like maybe if you were in that space and you were like, fuck you too, then maybe it could have escalated, or even if it didn't escalate, it's like y'all are both mad, but the fact that you were in a space where you allowed yourself to not be reactive, then they were kind of like, oh, that allowed them to self-reflect, even though y'all are not in a space where y'all could talk it out, obviously on the road, but they're just kind of like, oh, okay, like I didn't have to do that. It's like it diffused itself, and that's beautiful. So temperance, yeah. Okay. I hope this reading ends soon. I would like to close just because, like, this reading is super long because I felt the need to add my personal life into it. So, if you're still here at this point, like, I hope that this reading is of value to you. I feel like it's of value to me. But yeah, so very interesting. Now I'm being drawn to the devil card did come out, and it's coming out slightly underneath this seven of wands. You can't see it. It's the card where he's caught off guard and he's like defending himself. It came out in reverse, and initially with that card coming out, we were talking about you not feeling like, oh, I need to get there first. Oh, like I'm going back to this energy of like going for an audition and how you can feel like, oh, competition. You have this level of self-assuredness, like you know that you are called to do this, you know that you're following your creativity, you know that you've been empowered, you know that you've done the work to like prepare to go to this audition. So you're like everybody else at the audition, they're kind of thinking of it in this way, like they're scared, they're fearful, they're nervous. Some people are feeling unworthy. Some people are like they have this like game face on where like they're in their zone but they're not talking to anyone. They have this attitude, like sometimes people feel like in order for them to display confidence, it's almost like it has to have this like you have to not be worthy so that I can be worthy, like type of attitude. Like, oh, like I can't look other people in the eye, like that type of energy. So, like, somebody's at this audition and people have all these different type of energies at the audition, but you're a lot more grounded because like you have so many things going for you, so many different confirmations. That is like your relationship that you cultivated with the divine. Like you know that you are called to do this, you know that you've been preparing, you've been putting in the work for this, you know that you've released shame, guilt, and fear of embarrassment. So like there's this authenticity factor, like you will allow yourself to move freely, to audition freely, to put it out all on the line without fear of embarrassment. Like so that's a different level of confidence and assuredness. And that act is the trampoline, the bouncy house. That's what it's representing. And that's why her spiritual team was like, when you get on this trampoline, when you get on this bouncy house, it's gonna take you higher than you've ever went before. So like don't be caught off guard. Like things are gonna happen really fast. Um, the opportunities in this space are vast. You're going to leave with something. Like you don't have to fight for it. You don't have to be ugly for it. You don't have to push people for it. You don't have to run over people for it. You don't have to manipulate people for it. You have already cultivated this understanding within yourself through the cultivation of your skills and your relationship with your spiritual team. You know that you're supposed to be here and you've come to collect. That's the energy. So yeah, it's very interesting that the devil card has come out. And because it came out slightly underneath this seven of wands that was representing this release of this idea of scarcity, rushing, pushing people out the way, fighting for a spot, um, it's like an acknowledgement that that was once a thing for you. And that's, I guess, everything that we've been talking about when I was talking about my own personal journey and how I went from working 40 hours a week to part-time to now being an independent contractor and I make my own hours. It's like that journey where even when I was part-time and I had the opportunity to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, which I never wanted to do when I was working 9 to 5, to I'm glad to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to sit on my patio and drink green tea and meditate and watch traffic and pray and have gratitude that I don't have to be in that space in that way. But if I wanted to be in traffic, it would be because I wanted to. And even if I was, I would be able to go at my own pace. That energy. So yeah. So in case you guys are wondering, I've evolved from that to, like I said, I set the intention like I don't want to wake up to an alarm clock. I don't. And for a long time I didn't. And just now that I'm thinking about, just in the last week, I've been setting my alarm clock because I've been wanting to get up at 10 o'clock in the morning. But it's like, I, after like the last 2 years of not, no, the last 4 years of not waking up to an alarm clock at all, I just decided that I do want to wake up to an alarm clock. And it's that energy of like, it's not about demonizing things. It's about releasing yourself from them, and then you can revisit them at a later time but on your own terms. It's that energy. And I love that for me. So yeah, like this devil card come out and it's like self mastery, that you're beginning to understand how to release yourself from the shackles. You're beginning to understand the formula, or the, like, you're being you're being able to identify core aspects of what you need to do for yourself to release yourself from things that you don't want to belong to anymore. This was a long journey for me, um, all the way from I started, talking about my personal journey from 2017, but it started before then. It started like in 2015 when my friend introduced me to this idea of minimalism, and it spiraled from there. When I learned about minimalism, I did it in a holistic way, and I realized that there's certain things that you can learn, and they are so holistic that you realize that you can apply them to every aspect of your life. And for me, that was minimalism. I think there are other things that I haven't identified that maybe you may know, like that it bleeds into every aspect of your life, and that's what minimalism was. Minimalism was a doorway opened up for me that taught me that I can practice minimalism in many different forms and aspects in my life, whether it's food, exercising, material possessions, bills and finances, my hair care routine, um, like everything, social relationships, like just minimalism for me is just like getting clear, being intentional about what I'm doing, being intentional about what I engage in. That's what it boils down to. That's what minimalism has expanded for me. So yeah. So your spiritual team, I guess, with the devil card coming out, is like you're cracking the code, or you're coming to this realization of like how to unlock releasing yourself from things that limit you. And that's directly tied to scarcity mindset, lack mentality. So I still have about like 7 more cards. I'm not sure if I'll even have to shuffle again after this. I do feel some type of way about the video being this long, but it's also like, I have certain YouTubers that like, they can have a long video and I'm just be snacking and listening to them, and hopefully that's for you. If it resonates with you, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't want to really apologize for it because I started this reading for myself, with the intention that it was for myself, and then I realized shortly that this is a reading that can be shared. I don't know when I will share it, but forever it's for it will be. Okay, so um on the right of the spread we have the Chariot card. Oh my god. Sometimes when these cards come out, I just be like, wow. We have the Chariot card coming out. I hate moving the camera and I know I don't have the best lighting. The Chariot card representing like movement forward, and the Three of Wands. So like, yeah, it's definitely giving this energy, like with all that we've talked about, and being that this message is coming from my spiritual team and the spiritual teams of whoever this reading is for, and they're saying like with all that we've discussed and talked about um in this reading, like know that you are being encouraged to continue to move forward and to expect great things, and to expect and to mentally prepare for expansion. I don't know if I showed you the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands represents like, um, there is like the Two of Wands is like planning, like setting intentions and planning and really like trying to map out the logistics. And the Three of Wands for me is like the visionary, like the imaginary. Like for me, it's the fun part. Like one of my guilty pleasures is brainstorming. So I'm like I love like what is it called? Creative projects. I love creative projects. I've done a lot of creative projects myself, and I just love like event planning and okay, what colors are we gonna use, and what transitions are we going to use, and what are we going to do next, and what elements and what words are we going to use for this, stuff like that. Like I love brainstorming, and so for me the Three of Wands represents that type of energy, like brainstorming, the visionary. Like our spiritual team is saying like expect expansion, going back to the trampoline, the bouncy house energy. Like expect, it's like they're like, it's like this cautionary energy, like okay, this is gonna really propel you forward, like don't be surprised, or like mentally prepare, or like expect it to take off type of energy. And they're saying like you're gonna go a lot further than you've probably ever went before, and I'm hearing the word exponentially. Like, and we were talking about earlier, when you, specifically when you release guilt, shame, and fear of embarrassment, once you really hone that, dive into that. And so I'm getting like that audition. You go into audition and you've already decided you're not going to feel guilty for doing this. You're not going to feel shame for wanting to go after your goals. And you're not going to fear embarrassing yourself. So when you do go out on the stage, you're going to do the full motions. You're going to fully commit to the motions. That type of energy. So with the Three of Wands, your spiritual team is like expect to take off and move forward with this expectation. Like you're fully supported by your spiritual team. Your spiritual team, you have, our spiritual team is giving us what is it called when someone gives you permission? They give you, like, you have their blessing. You have their blessing to move forward. Yes. And that also speaks to what was coming through earlier in the reading, where it's like people don't know what this is, and they're not necessarily questioning or trying to overanalyze it, but they're like, they don't feel a need to stand in your way either. It's just like everything checks out. Here you are. I'm seeing somebody walking through TSA. I'm seeing someone, getting through checkout. I'm seeing someone like they put in their application and it's been approved. It's like nobody's standing in your way, and it's like your spiritual team is orchestrating that for you. You're walking through. So your spiritual team is wanting you to kind of keep up your, not end of the bargain, but like keep up your energy as temperance did come out. Like walk through with expectation. Like just claim what's yours. That type of energy. Love that for you. Love that for us. Yep. And we have the Six of Wands. It's like I might as well have just did an audio, like audio only, because the lighting. I was really expecting this to be for myself. I record readings for myself and I just need the audio, so I wasn't expecting to post it. But yeah, this is the Six of Wands. He's on the chariot on the horse. Like, expect to win. Expect to, like, going back to the Sonic the Hedgehog energy, or that imagery of like I said, you may have seen it, you may have not, but like they have this, I guess it's a game or something. People go into this glass box and there's like air blowing in it, and like there's money in there, and it's just blowing so sporadically, and there is a timer, and they just grab as much money as they can. And like it's funny to see like people have different techniques for how they try to grab as much money as they can, because the money is going everywhere. So our spiritual team is like, you don't have to worry about scarcity, you're gonna grab something. But it's just like collect all the rings. Expect to collect all the rings. You're leaving here with something. You're leaving here with a multiple of things. It's like blessing energy. So yeah, expecting to win. Then we have the Ace of Cups coming out. So this is a spiritual blessing. It's above them now. It's above them now. So there was this energy of like, you go into the audition, whether you get the audition or you don't, it's like you win either way. If you don't get it, you won because you allowed yourself to express yourself authentically and openly without guilt, shame, and embarrassment. It, you won because other people seen you and they seen your light, and they're kind of taken back by it, and they're impressed by it, or they're like they want to network with you. It's just like it's giving this energy of like, even if the people that you were auditioning for whatever reason didn't want you for the role or didn't see it, it's like someone in that room did. It's like even if that was the case, it would be a fumble. Like someone else is going to pick it up. Someone else is going to want to have a conversation with you or pull you to the side. You cannot lose. Um, yeah, it's just like someone else has a question, or you're doing something, and then like someone else is like, hey, can I interview you for that? I happen to notice that you were talking about this. Could you tell me more about this? So I'm getting like someone going to, like, when they have those, not job fairs, but like it's a fair where there's a whole bunch of tables, and it's like, no matter, say you didn't get what you went in there for, but some other kind of connection was made. Like, you cannot lose that type of energy. You cannot lose. So like divine gifts here with the Ace of Cups. You're blessed from every angle, from every space. You're blessed. Um, so expect to receive. Don't be shy about about claiming what's yours. Or I'm also getting like, you know, sometimes there's this energy of like, say people are giving out something, or there's food on the table or something, there's something about like, don't be shy, make you a plate, try whatever it is that you want to try. Like, okay, so I'm getting buffet type of energy, but not like buffet in a restaurant. It feels like buffet in a at an event, like help yourself type of energy. And your spiritual team is like, don't be shy, try this, try that, you know, call them over here. Yes, I would like to try it, like that type of energy. So don't be shy if someone is giving out something, or like, I don't know what it is, but don't be shy. Help yourself is the energy. And then in between the Six of Wands and the Ace of Cups, we have the, you can't see it, the Two of Cups in reverse. Very interesting. What is this Two of Cups about? What is this Two of Cups about? This Two of Cups in reverse feels like an interaction. Okay. And there's this energy of like, even if it doesn't work out with this other person, it's okay. So I'm getting like no hard feelings type of vibes. Yeah. And I'm hearing the words commercial vehicle. So for me as a reader, that means moving, someone having the ability or the opportunity to move from one stage of their life to the next. And I think this is confirming a message that I was talking about earlier already. You need me? You need me? You need me? Oh, okay. I'm almost done. This energy of like, you're not gonna miss out on anything, or you're not going to like, exactly what I was saying, like if it doesn't work out, if you didn't exactly get what you were going into a situation for, you're still gonna come out with something. So you're there's no need for you to be disgruntled or disappointed about anything. That's the energy. So yeah, I'm glad he came in for me, because I'm like, this is a long reading, so I don't need to shuffle. But um if you made it to the end of this reading, let me know. If this message resonates, like the video. If you would like to contribute to my readings, I appreciate that, and you can contribute to my readings by visiting my Amazon wish list, and visiting my website as well to learn more about my readings. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, angels, guides, ancestors, God, source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and goodbye.